Germany's Central Memorial for the Victims of War and Tyranny is one of Kiran Nagarkar's favourite places in Berlin. He's especially drawn to the sculpture, a version of Käthe Kollwitz's Mother with Her Dead Son.
What do you find so moving about the sculpture?
What I like especially, apart from the image itself, is what it says here. It's not to the unknown soldier of India or Germany or England or US. It's for all those who have fallen and who have been victims of violence and tyranny. And I like the fact that it does not compartmentalize or monopolize death, you know.
Just next door is one of the Indian writer's favourite buildings, IMP's extension to the German Historical Museum.
First of all, I like very simple things. I love the spiraling, you know, this thing which goes up like this, and the lines are very clean.
Have you ever thought of being an architect?
Amongst the kind of 500 things that I want to be, certainly I would like to be an architect. Because one of my basic beliefs, nothing new, is that architecture is also very much about dignity, human dignity. And since I come from India, where at least 60% of the population lives on the pavement or in slums, it matters even more to me.
Kiran Nagarkar comes from Bombay, or Mumbai as it's officially called nowadays. 2 years ago we visited him there. He's one of the most important and critical literary voices in present-day India. He grew up in the kind of poverty he describes in his novel Ravan and Eddy, which is about two boys living in a tenement building. His latest book, God's Little Soldier, tells the story of a well-to-do young man who turns to extremism and terrorism. It too is set in his home city, which has more religions and languages than any other in India. In November 2008, Mumbai was the real-life target of terrorist attacks.
It must have been terrible seeing that in some ways the fiction has been overtaken by reality.
I knew that I had written a book about extremism and terrorism, and that I was far more simplistic and I was far more optimistic than the reality of things. And I must confess that it just shook me. It sounds like a cliche, but I can't say I was devastated, but I was appalled that it really doesn't matter anymore, that the only kind of dialogue that we seem to be able to have is a dialogue of violence.
Kiran Nagarkar's home country and its conflicts are never far from his thoughts. His next novel will again unfold in the megalopolis where he was born. Many know it as Boomtown Bombay, but Nagarkar tends to be critical of the economic boom India has experienced in the past few years.
I wish to God it would reach down to the poorest of the poor. As luck will have it, the world economic crisis is going to teach us very different things now. The so-called India shining is going to be far more difficult now, okay? The rhetoric of India poised. Poised to do what? Poised to improve the lot of our people, or poised in the pursuit of money? We have to decide that.
For a year, Kiran Nagarkar has been in Berlin as part of an academic exchange program. Time enough to observe some changes in Germany.
The level of confidence has gone up, in the sense that Germans are no longer afraid of waving their flag. And I hope to God this new feeling of self-confidence does not also mean that there is a revival of the worst kind of tendencies that I see happening all the time, occurring all the time. My own country is going through a fundamentalist phase, which strikes me as very strong on the worst kind of patriotism. So I hope Germany can avoid that kind of pitfall.
Another novel is in the works. Meanwhile, Kiran Nagarkar is due to leave Germany in a few weeks.
When you leave, what impressions will you take with you?
Despite what Germans themselves say, the population still reads. And in my country, it's a vanishing tribe, you know, those who read, really. So there's much that I'm going to miss. One of the most important ones is how much green space there is in this city, you know. I mean, the number of trees. I think I've always said this, that I have a very strange love affair with trees. And I miss trees desperately in Bombay.